on.
You're totally right there on the sort of safety aspects. I've been doing a little bit of research recently in looking at the sort of long-term effects in pugilistic dementia, and there's also a school of thought from a lot of medics that the actual spread of the glove, the way that can affect the brain is actually worse with the knuckle being smaller. So it's nice to speak to somebody that's heard of that, but it is very, very well documented all around the world that it is actually a safer sport than glove boxing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. You know, it's in our instinct to fight for survival.
Yeah.
So why not make it a professional sport where everyone can enjoy it?
Exactly. Do you know much about Michael Ferry, the Bbad champion at the moment?
I know, I've studied his tapes. I know what Michael's good at. I know what he's not good at, and I'm formulating a game plan around that.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm going to bring that to England in September and put on a great show for the fans, and that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah. If you're watching Michael, no, he won't tell us his game plan. I've already tried. In his last fight, in Michael Ferry's last fight, when he lifted the British title, he used sort of really immense speed and power, which I think is quite unusual for somebody his size, or again in your size as a heavyweight, over Craig Amor to defeat him in 8 seconds. I mean, Craig's a massively experienced fighter as well. Do you think with the disciplines that you've fought in before, do you think you'd be able to sort of match the hand speed that he's got?
You know, I'd say Michael's greatest attribute is his speed, but you know, people have always told me that I'm incredibly agile and incredibly fast for a big man. So that's why this fight's going to be spectacular. It's going to be an astonishing looking fight for the fans. Yeah. It's going to be 2 heavyweights that are around 250 pounds, 18 or 19 stone, somewhere in there. And we're going to be fighting like 180-pound fighters. So it's going to be fireworks, it's going to be dynamite, and the fans are really going to enjoy the explosion.
I think it looks sort of size-wise, it looks like a great matchup. I mean, I've only met you for the first time this morning, but you and Michael are both sort of similar builds, similar heights. I think they'll be absolutely explosive, to be honest, I really do.
Yeah, I'm working on getting faster. I feel like I have to catch up to Michael a little bit, so Michael, you better keep getting faster too, because I'm coming for you.
I don't quite know what to say to that. Looking at your record to date, which we've talked about, it's amazingly well. Obviously, you do a lot more than just sort of throw punches or box. Do you think, sort of with that in mind, I mean, you've competed in all kinds of in MMA. Do you think punching is really your best discipline?
Over the years, I've developed, you know, people say you either have knockout power or you don't, but I really believe that over the past few years, I've really developed my knockout power, you know, throwing punches differently than I used to. And I'm not going to say how I did it, but I throw a little differently than I have in the past. And, you know, now when I fight, when I land a punch, I'm breaking people's orbital bones, I'm breaking their jaw, you know, I do some damage, so
yeah.
I'm ready for a bigger challenge now.
I think I saw on your Facebook page that you had picked up on a couple of interviews that I've done with Michael. I've gotten to know him quite well since then, and he is, I count him as a bit of a friend now. He's a really nice, sort of kind-hearted, respectful family man. All of that sort of changes a little bit in the ring. Personally, I think you must be absolutely mad challenging him.
Well, a lot of people will say I'm mad challenging a bare-knuckle champion, but that's going to bring us viewers, and you know.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of the challenge. I look forward to the challenge, and that's where I think I'm different from a lot of people. A lot of people would be scared to do this, but I'm not scared. I'm fighting for the right reasons. I'm fighting to give my son a better life. So with that first and foremost in my mind, it's just a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not scared of any fight. I'm not scared of any man, and I'm just excited to show the fans that and put on a great show.
Well, until today, I would have said Michael Ferry's the only one I'm frightened of, but I met you now, and I'm not going to cross you either. Obviously, you've got a huge fan base all the way around the world, UK included. Have you got any sort of message or anything you'd like to say to your UK fans?
To the UK fans, I just wanted to say I really hope you enjoy the show. Thank you very much for welcoming me into the country. You know, everyone here has been lovely to deal with since I landed a couple days ago, and nothing but respect and love from Canada. You know, I'm a humble guy, so I don't know what else to say, but thank you very much for the hospitality, and I'm going to put on a show for everybody.
I've been led to believe as well that a friend of mine, Andy Juby, took you for good old-fashioned cod and chips in England last night. How did you find that?
Well, eating fish and chips from England, straight from England, is on my bucket list. I'm a big-time seafood fanatic, so it's definitely a pleasure and something that I can tell my son about when he's older and understands that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'm a bit of a seafood fan myself. People are going to crucify us for this, but I've been on a seafood diet of late, seafood and eat it. Yes, I do appreciate you laughing, because I know that wasn't funny, but you know, thank you for humouring us. Can you sum up in a sentence, Bbad?
In a sentence? That's a good question. I'll say this. Bbad is the most professional and respectful organization I've ever dealt with, and it's a true honor to be a part of what Bbad is doing worldwide.
That's fantastic. Last but not least, and you're going to hate us for this, but I always ask this question, can you call your fight in September with Michael? How do you think it'll play out?
I'm a realist, so I always consider all scenarios, but I'm not coming here to lose. I'm not coming here to take a fall for no man. So I'm going to knock Michael Ferry out, and I'll say I'll do it in the first round.
As we talk about sort of bare knuckle boxing's come to the forefront thanks to Bbad, you're the first professional athlete that's crossed over. Do you think that'll sort of pave the way for others in the future?
I hope that it paves the way for other fighters. You know, Bbad has a structure where they're gonna be able to pay the fighters a little bit better, which obviously, you know, that's what the fighters want.
Yeah.
And you know, being the first fighter to cross over is monumental for me, and you know, it'll leave a legacy for my son. You know, I'm here to make history. Yeah.
And I think you're going to do that. I mean, hopefully a lot of other people will follow, and we're going to end on a fantastic sort of competition. Obviously, this fight as well, and Bbad fights are going to actually be sanctioned by a sanctioning body, the WBKBC. Is that something that's important to you?
Yeah, of course. It makes sure everything is legal, having everything sanctioned. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't sanctioned. So, you know, that's going to allow me future opportunities, and I really hope that I can get this sport legalized in Alberta. Yeah. And I'll have to speak with Pat Reed on that. You know, Pat's a friend of mine, and he's a smart man. So, you know, this is a huge opportunity, and I'm gonna do my best to get it legalized in Alberta and hopefully the rest of Canada. But I'm in England now, and I'm going to do my scrapping in England in September.
I think it's a really good thing for the sport, the sanctioning body. I mean, I've been doing a little bit of research on them before today, and they're inviting all fighters to register with them, so they can record all the fight details, rankings, and things like that. But crucially, they're not actually charging them for membership, which I think it just shows it's all about the sport, really. Yeah,
that's huge. In Alberta and Canada, we have to pay licensing fees, and you know, that is what it is. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, they have to make their money as well. But having the commission over here is not charging the fighters is just awesome for all of us. Well, it's certainly going to be an absolutely fantastic fight, and one I'm massively looking forward to. Just before we sort of come to the end, is there anything else you'd like to mention, or anybody you'd like to mention even? Yeah, I just wanted to say a huge thank you again to all my fans, sponsors, and supporters. And you know, every organization I've ever fought for has led me to being here today. So I have to say thank you to all the promoters and event staff and the Edmonton Combative Sports Commission, everyone I've ever dealt with. You know, thank you guys. You know, I'm here today in England, and I'm going to represent my country with class, and I really appreciate the opportunity. One more shout out for your son. Yeah, hey Brady, Dad loves you. You're coming over on Saturday for one of the most eagerly anticipated fights, BKB, the Bbad staging from Cotney Hall in Nottingham. The third fight of James McCrory and Dave Radford.
To anybody that can't make it, it is a sold-out all VIP event. I think it was 400 people, filled to capacity. You can actually watch that live on the Mercury Sport Network at www.mercurysportnetwork.tv. Don't forget to join me when I do some more interviews with Peep Magazine and hopefully for some more for Bbad. Tim, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
You're a gent. Ow!
Sorry.